So what better place to talk about quantity over quality than a Costco, the weekend before Thanksgiving? So let's first get one thing straight. I do a daily, but my name is Corey Weekley, so I know it's confusing. So what's even harder than vlogging in an airport is vlogging in a Costco. I want to talk about dailies versus weeklies. Sorry.
It's cold. That's cold.
So it turns out it's a little bit too difficult to vlog in a Costco. So I'll get into a bigger discussion about dailies versus weeklies when I get home.
I'm messing up your video.
Okay, as you can see, I couldn't really vlog in Costco. I am back in the office, unfortunately doing the vlog in here again. Thank you everybody also for all the comments and likes and everything, and all the views on my I am no small creator video that I got to drop yesterday. It was really, really awesome. I noticed there was a lot of comments talking about the process of a daily. Now, again, just to clear it up, my name is Corey Weekley, but I do a daily. I know how confusing that is, but here's what was interesting. Some of the comments that really stood out were the ones that were talking about getting into a daily and people doing weekly vlogs and people doing like bi-weekly vlogs twice a week. Bi-weekly? So semi-weekly. I don't know what that is. Semi-weekly. I don't know. Twice a week. People were talking about posting twice a week. What I wanted to talk about was the mindset, the different mindset that is between someone who is vlogging on a weekly basis and someone who's vlogging on a daily basis. Now, the mindsets are actually very, very different because I attempted to do two or three a week about 4 months ago, maybe 5 months ago at this point. And I tried to do that, and it didn't work. I failed after 2 weeks. And that's because the mindset of a weekly vlogger or someone who posts several times a week but not daily is very different. That's a marathon runner, right? You have time to plan out your shots. You have time to think about your video. I mean, if you have a video that drops on a Saturday, you have essentially all week to shoot and edit and to refine, and you have to have discipline within that, within that structure. Because my problem was I would say, okay, I'm dropping a video on Wednesday. I would sort of think about it on Monday and then think about it a little bit on Tuesday and then panic on Wednesday and try to put something together. Not really pacing myself. It was more just like panic and then a couple days off from the panic and then panic and then a couple days off from the panic. It's a crazy mindset to do it that way because, and some people can do it. Obviously some people can do it. I can't do that. Now, the mindset of a daily vlogger is very, very, very different. And I think if you're starting out, create anything, right? Create just whatever you can, create in whatever schedule you can. Just get into the habit of creating and find out what type of creator you are. Because you may be a weekly creator. You may be somebody that has the discipline to create over several days and be able to refine and restructure and go through a couple of edits. That's great. If you can do that, that's awesome. But you may find out you're also a daily vlogger. Now, a daily vlogger's mindset is very, very different. And what I mean by that is you go into daily vlogging panicked, you're always rushing, and you have to give up on perfection. Daily vlogging is really about quantity. Now, it's not necessarily not about quality, but the idea is you are putting out so much work that you don't have time to sort of stop and dwell on the mistakes that you had or things that you wish you had shot or, any of those other things that you would get stuck on. You don't have that luxury as a daily vlogger. You just keep going because the next day, literally when you get up in the morning, you have a new task, and that task is to create another video. And that happens every day. So in that mindset of creating every day, you have to really, realistically, giving up on your perfection, giving up on all the little things that you do, like surfing the net or watching too much YouTube, which is also a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, let's create before we consume kind of idea, but you really have to know that you want to create content, like deep down, regardless of whether it's going to be good or bad. You have to want to create it. You have to be able to understand that that's a sprint, and if you fail, you've got the next sprint coming right up behind it. So you don't even have to worry. Like failure is not a problem when you do a daily vlog. You're going to fail a lot, and that's okay. So what finally convinced me to do a daily vlog, besides Austin and Cody and even Casey, I mean, the idea of a daily vlog reminds me of my time when I was at Art Center. Now, I went to Art Center in Pasadena and I majored in advertising. And we had this instructor. His name was Roland Young. And Roland Young, I think he's still there. I'm not sure. What he had us do, and this is one of the very first classes you take when you get into Art Center as an advertising major. He had us create these paper sculptures out of, obviously, paper, but we couldn't use any kind of glue or staples or tape or anything like that. We just had to use sheets of paper and create sculptures however we can. Now that was a task in itself. First week after we were done, and I think this is 14 weeks, and I think we were about 4 weeks in. So week 5, he said, okay, now take a camera and shoot 100 photos of your sculpture, however you want. So we did. We did that. We took it, and mind you, this is back when it was film. Now, I'm probably older than you think, but this is back when we were still shooting on film. Digital was very, very young at the time, so we were shooting film. So we had to shoot the stuff. We had to get it developed and get it printed in 1 hour photo booths, that anybody remembers those. So we had to do that. And what we did was then he had us lay out them all out on the tables at Art Center, and he came in, and we were sort of eager to show him all the cool photos that we took of these sculptures. And he came in and he didn't look at a single one. He just walked to the front of the class and he looked at everybody and he said, "These are all wrong. Go home, do it again." And it blew our minds because we were like, you didn't even look at a single photo. Like, how do you know all of these are wrong? Not going to worry about it. It's maybe a trick or something like that. So we went back and he said, take another 100 photos and be back next week. That was the class. It was a 4-hour class. We were done in 5 minutes. So we left. We took more pictures. Came back the next week, and he strolled into the class. All of our photos were laid out. And he looked at it. He glanced at a few, and he went to the front of the class and said, "They're all wrong. Do it again." And at this point, we were like, come on, really? We're like, what are we supposed to do? I'm out of ideas on how to shoot this thing. I've shot this sculpture 200 times. How am I supposed to do even more? And his response was just, do more. I'm sorry, but they're all wrong still. So this next week, we did it again. We came back, we laid them all out again, and we were just fully expecting him to blow everybody off. And he came in and said, he started looking at all of them, and he said, okay, now look at some of the ones that you took at the very beginning. And so we got out the first 100, and we started to look through them, and he says, now compare them to the ones you've taken now. So we started looking at the ones, and we compared them, and they were obviously different. His goal in all of this was to get us to understand that because we are so familiar with who we are and who we are as a person and how we construct things, that we see things in a certain way. And we will always be stuck in that frame of mind until we get bored with that. The idea of shooting this paper sculpture 100 times and then another 100 times and then another 100 times was to get us to get all of the boring shots out first. That first 100 was how we understood and how we saw the world, which is interesting, but it's that first level, right? The second 100, he wanted us to really get bored with it. He wanted us to get frustrated and to say, look, I've already shot it like this before. I've already lit it like this before. I don't know what else to do. Is there any other ways to do this? So by the third batch of 100, which was in the 300s, we were really looking at it differently because we had gotten bored with what we were doing. We had gotten to a point where we didn't see the object as the object anymore. All of our photos became much better. Now, he said, look at the first 100 again. And he says, of course, there's going to be a couple gems in there because your uniqueness of the way you are comes through in those photos. So you actually have very good ones in the beginning, but you'll also have very good ones at the end. The lesson there was, look, the answer is there. Whether it's the first one that you come up with, or it's the last one you come up with. But you won't ever know which one is the correct right answer until you get through all of them. And I think vlogging, daily vlogging in that sense, is the same way. It's about quantity. It's about going through all these different iterations of vlogs that we have to create on a daily basis. It starts to make a progress, right? It starts to make like a timeline where you can actually look back at the ones that you didn't like and say, I didn't like those. I'm not going to make those again. But you can also look at the ones that you're currently making and saying, wow, I've actually gotten way better from what I used to do. And that progression is really what I think daily vlogging is about. It's that mindset of like knowing you're going to get bored with vlogging. Daily vlogging is tough. I mean, I'm 40 days in. I don't know how some of these other people are doing, you know, a year, 2 years, 3 years. I mean, that to me is just inspirational, for one. And two, they've got an amazing focus. They're getting something and learning something from that extra 2, 3, 4, 500 vlogs that they had done. So in that sense, that mindset of a daily vlogger is very different than a weekly vlogger. A weekly vlogger has discipline, has focus. A daily vlogger has panic and iteration. But what I think really comes down to is, what is your personality type that you can do, that you could be successful at? Because some people can't do and can't handle a daily vlog, and that's okay, because they may be more prone to do like a weekly vlog because they like to plan things out. They like to do polish. They like to figure out, the ins and outs of an edit. Daily vlogging is all about getting it out there and not worrying about it and losing your perfectionism. That to me that's more focused on me. I need that deadline every day. I need that crazy panic, because right now, I mean, I'm in what's for dinner mode, right? And I don't know if you've watched that video, but I didn't have a vlog. I thought I was going to shoot in Costco, and now I'm shooting in my office as a talking head. It's two very different mindsets, and know which one you are. Know which one you are, and that'll help determine whether or not you want to do a daily or you want to do a weekly. I hope that answers some questions about people asking about dailies and asking about like production schedules and stuff. I mean, realistically, dailies are it's a grind. You've got to absolutely love it, and you've got to absolutely love the process versus the end result. You're not worried about polish. You're worried about the process. You're worried about the way you create, that pipeline of creation, rather than the end result. Now, mind you, again, the end results of dailies can be great as well. I'm not saying they aren't, but figure out which one you are. Figure out whether you're a daily vlogger or a weekly vlogger. I hope that helps. All right, guys. 16 minutes. Are you freaking kidding me? I talked for 16 minutes. That's nuts. I'm either vastly sorry, and this is like a 60-minute edit, or you guys stuck around and watched, so I'm sorry I'm a talking head this time. Whew. 16 minutes. All right, I'm Corey Weekley, and I'll see you tomorrow.